Grew up in Bismarck, North Dakota, was extremely active in sports. That was pretty much my life. Parents got divorced when I was 7. I was a good kid. I stayed out of trouble. We went to church. It was kind of just something we did. It's kind of something we checked the boxes, so to speak. And I thought I was right with God because I was a good kid. I listened to what my dad said. I didn't want to get in trouble, didn't want to miss sports, kind of all those things, all those factors in my mind made me think I'm good. And then I go to college, and at that point it's, okay, you're no longer in your parents' house. It's time to grow up, make your own decisions. I remember one of our first practices, it was a senior quarterback at the time named Dante Perez. He ends up asking me, hey man, you ever read the Bible? It was our first practice. I just got done learning about two-jet protection and what the X has on the certain plays and all these things. My head's spinning, and he wants to talk about the Bible, and I'm kind of taken aback. At the same time though, I was like, here it is, because I knew God was kind of moving. And from that moment on, him and I started talking. He was a mentor to me. We read the entire New Testament and met up, at least once a week and talked through the Word. And it just came to life to me. It was really eye-opening to me. I always said I was a believer in Jesus, but I didn't really know what he did for me. I thought it was all about what I could do for him. And when that kind of mindset was flipped on its head, and that it was already done for me, and that it was a thing called grace, and I could live for him freely and not out of rules and obligation, it just changed my life. We met actually in the country of Haiti, and she was there serving with the organization called Mission of Hope. And this was after my rookie year. Went down on a mission trip with the church that we go to out here in New Jersey. We ended up talking, and I just to see another woman that was truly after God's heart in that moment, and trying to serve him the way that I was trying to live as well. About a year and a couple months later, we were married. And now we have a daughter who's 7 months old now, and she is an absolute joy. It's been quite the journey together so far. We were all on this high as a team. I was in the MVP conversation, and our team was, we just clinched the NFC East and all sorts of good things going. And my season was done. And for me, I've had a fair share of injuries, but never something like that. Never something where I literally had zero control of my life. I couldn't walk. I couldn't get off the couch to go to the bathroom by myself. I couldn't. Just complete control had to be surrendered. Believe me, I wasn't the best patient. I was frustrated, I was crabby. It was a trying time. But to look back at it and to see, we go on to win the Super Bowl. Everyone knows that story, and I was not out there. And to walk through that, obviously it was tough at the time, and I still look back and think it was a tough time, but I know God was moving in my life, and he wanted me to know that he loves me so much that my relationship with him is far more important than winning a Super Bowl, than being on that stage in my uniform, than playing in that game, but ultimately playing for his glory and saying, God, your will be done. And just how God has had his hand from that moment on in my life, and I thank him for it. For me, I've always been a guy that wants to have control, and my selfishness and my desire for control has to decrease every moment, and it has to just allow God to increase in my life, to try my best to be Spirit-led and not Carson-led. Sometimes I just look at my daughter and I kind of laugh, because I'm like, she's mine. And the way I love her that I can't even explain or understand, I know doesn't even compare to how much God loves us. Almost makes me emotional sometimes, because I'm just like, this is my daughter, and God, you gave your son to die for me. And I'm like, I would never let anything happen to this little girl, because she is mine. Like, because of how much he loves me, he was willing to allow his son to go through the agony of dying on that cross. And I think that is when the peace just rushes over me, and I think, all right, God, there's so much more at play than the X's and O's of football, than the highs and lows of wins and losses, and that gives me peace.